first and foremost, we want to hear back from you all. And do I have a group who wants to volunteer to go first, or do I get to pick? I saw. Okay. We're gonna ask you all to present, and then if the group has questions, we'll ask you can pose those questions to the other group or clarification. So, come on up.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Our topic today is entrepreneurship, and I'm going to introduce the group. Now, this is Rudy, Brandon, Rebecca, Rhonda, Samuel, and myself, Tara.
All right, for ours, our goal initially is to create an initiative for up-and-coming entrepreneurs to create businesses. Our main objective is that we want to complete before next year's summit is to help educate and put in education initiative to younger students today in high schools and middle schools particularly.
Some of the ways, and that was loud. Some of the ways that that could be done is holding realistic workshops. Basically what that would mean would be that middle school and high school students would go to a workshop about entrepreneurship, and they would be given kind of like Monopoly cash. And this would be a semester or yearly, it would be kind of like a class, basically. And what they would do the first semester, they would get their hands wet and figure out, okay, this is what entrepreneurship is. Second semester would be where the professors or the teachers throw curveballs at them, in which, like realistic, you have to fix this in your business, or this went wrong, something like that. The timeline for this would be, as I said, like a semester with an option to continue on to a second semester and possibly even another year. Another activity that would be great would be entrepreneur shadowing, where they would go, kind of like a job shadowing, they would go to a local entrepreneur and learn about the difficulties, the problems they face daily. And this would be one school year. It would be mainly for high school students, and what they would do would just go to a job and figure out what's going on. Another activity that could be held would be a media campaign to inform the community and bring them to entrepreneurship. This would fall on the shoulders of community leaders and media outlets. Basically, the community leaders would help us get the funding and get the contacts to contact the media outlets so that we could put newspapers, radio, TV, put an ad in there so that our students can get an initiative to become entrepreneurs. Another activity would be kind of like a tax reform for small businesses. A lot of the businesses that try to start out, they usually have the capital to begin their own business, but usually don't have the capital to pay the taxes. And that's something that holds a lot of entrepreneurs back, is the fact that they don't have how to pay the taxes. This would fall on the shoulders of the elected officials and would be an ongoing project. Another activity would be to create a beginning workplace for entrepreneurs. This would fall on the shoulders of colleges or other buildings that are not in use right now. Mostly colleges, though, because colleges have that 1 or 2 rooms that are usually not used and are usually big. And what we could do there would be like put cubicles in there where entrepreneurs would have access to fax machines, computers, telephones, email, the internet, just so they can get on their feet and get their company started. This again would be an ongoing activity. Another one would be to create an association for local entrepreneurs, where it is headed by the entrepreneurs that have already had success, and basically gives the newer generation tips, strategies that work in the area, strategies that don't work in the area. And it would be an ongoing thing to keep the younger generations just coming. And lastly, to hold forums and assemblies so that successful entrepreneurs can share their stories. This basically kind of ties in to the last one, but this would be more like an event that they would go to hear motivational speakers to help them continue on their goal to reach a successful business.
In order to accomplish these activities and strategies, our group came up with 3 main resources that are needed, and these reflect the groups and persons that will be held accountable to implement these activities. Our first one was that we'll need established entrepreneurs that are willing to help. The second is that there will be school involvement that is needed on both local and college level. And also the third one, the capital will be needed to fund entrepreneurs and their businesses, and also community support and buy-in in order to promote the growth in the activities.
Okay. Obviously, there's going to be some challenges that we'll face when we're trying to implement these programs and activities. The first one being finding willing participants. We need people to believe in what we're doing, and we want those who are going to invest their time and their capital into our endeavors to know that this is a successful program and we will make a difference. Secondly, there'll be lack of interest because of lack of knowledge. We need to educate these people and let them know that entrepreneurship is a choice in their lives, and we need to make them aware of its being as well. Lastly, and the most importantly, is funding. Without funding, these programs and activities that we've suggested cannot be. So, is there any questions?
Our next group, who is volunteering to go second? We've heard from entrepreneurship. And this group is, what's your topic? Economic development.
Hello. Of course she volunteers. She doesn't have to speak. Good afternoon. Everybody's deaf now. Well, luckily I like talking, so I'll go ahead and introduce our group here. We have Amanda Newsom, Zach Smith, Jamie Dykes, Nicole Pierce, Jared Neely, Kelly Edwards, our facilitator. Myself, I'm Matt Doyle. I'm from the University of Pikeville, and our topic is economic development. A lot of us come from different blocks of life. We're all here from Appalachia, but we all want to pursue different careers. So it was important into the melting pot of where this information's coming from. Our goal was to increase monetary incentives and job security. Our objective and outcome, the whole purpose of our thoughts and ideas, was the state and local government working with community to support the longevity of the local workforce so that people stay here. People have a reason to rely on the mountains in Appalachia in this area for a future. The activities and strategies that we came up with was scholarship and loan forgiveness. There's a lot of areas in the 3 teachers here, where they at? Raise their hand. 4, well, and then the doctor. There's a lot of loan forgiveness that goes around and that actually is being implemented right now. And what we were talking about is that's good and that's all well and good. And when you're looking at doing that on the state dimes, it's just another way to take money from something that you can do else. If you're not going to be a teacher or any type of giving back to the state, if you're going to be in business, we were talking about not only coming from the public sector, but in the private sector as well, and that corporations and businesses themselves would provide loan forgiveness, that they would look into an investment as one of these fine young adults, if they were going for a CEO or a job in a major corporation, that, you know what, maybe here in 6 to 7 years, they'll be putting more money in my pocket, and their education will be worth something. We looked at that taking about 3 to 5 years. The education of our business leaders. We're all here today in this summit, and we thought it was a great experience. We all had a great time talking with each other. But the big thing is business leaders, state and local government officials. We thought, if we saw all those people in the crowd, we got to rub elbows with them, and they heard what was on our mind. That would be a good thing to do. That would be kind of a cohesion of where we're going to go in the workforce as well as our future of Appalachia. The creation of jobs. We talked about getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce in order to spend money to make money, in order to put these people here doing something productive so that they would have a future here. The welfare of the community. We brought this up as we talked about 2 brick walls we run into. Appalachia is known for a lot of things. The prevalence of Social Security and drugs we couldn't turn a blind eye to. It's a problem. It's here in our backyard. You have people that are hooked on drugs. You have people that are taking money out that maybe don't necessarily need those benefits and that are affecting the others. And it was opportunities and creation of jobs and the welfare of the community that we looked at in order that we could provide legislation, provide something to find out, to get to a basis of where we could go from there and how we could consolidate and be more fiscally responsible. The programs increasing community pride. I mean, I'm proud to be an Appalachian. I don't have much of a dialect. Our teacher over here does. Probably why she didn't want to talk. But we looked at working with the communities, getting people involved. Coming out of the Great Depression, we had community works programs that really, in order to have somebody stay there, in order to get jobs into that area, and in order to build, national forests, national parks, and recreation areas, we had to spend money. We had to use that money. We got people to have pride in their community again, to go to these forests, to go to these parks, to go explore and do these recreational things. And this could all be in cohesion with the state and local governments as well as business partners and private donors. And we all looked at about a 1 to 5 year timeline on that. Resources needed to accomplish objective and solution. Well, like Jerry Maguire said, show me the money, right? Money is always going to be a key thing. And especially in a bad economy, it's going to be a key thing. Publicity and public awareness, getting people involved. There's so many young people here in this crowd today and that came to this summit to exchange ideas and to get involved and get out there. And that's something that's key, to hook onto that and to use that as a catalyst, to be calling your state and local governments, to be calling your mayor, your city council. Start there. Start small. It'll start like a storm and it'll just build. Legislative support and community support. One person can't make a difference. Well, I'm sure that's what they thought in the Middle East during those revolutions where they spread dictatorships. That started on Facebook. I know I have a lot of Facebook friends, and people here probably use Facebook. I mean, those things start small. You except me and Luke here become friends. We become friends with somebody else. We start pushing for local support, legislative support. That's where it starts. Possible challenges in implementation of this effort. Money. Obviously, money. Times are changing. The Congress is changing. We're trying to stop over budget, but you're looking at one of the most deprived areas in the United States here in Appalachia, and we need that money in order to facilitate our futures. So that starts with you getting out there and gaining support, and it's through that support that weaves, this web of where we can do anything. Changes in the national economy are something we look forward to. This is our plan, this is our possible actions and strategies, and this is what we do because we believe that we think we can have a future here in this area, that we can go above and beyond. We can be on par with other states, with other areas, that Appalachian will be known, be proud to be in the mountains. It won't be a black eye to say, oh, I'm from Appalachia, oh, can you talk right? Are you on drugs? What's the detriments to that? We have to erase those prejudices right now. We have to build and we have to work together. I appreciate your time.
Are we going to hear from education or health and wellness next? Come on down.
All right, guys, can y'all hear me? Okay, my name's Christian Callahan. This is Emily and Sarah and Luke, and this is Jake. Our topic was health and wellness. Our main goal was to educate and improve infrastructure to healthcare and wellness. One of the things that I wanted to talk to y'all about was, as you all know, Eastern Kentucky is known for coal mining. We are a big supporter of coal. We also have a coal severance. I don't know if many of y'all know what that is. Whenever you mine out so much money of coal, you get so much back from the government. Now, this is really funny to think about this because Eastern Kentucky is one of the well-known coal-producing counties. We only receive 2% of our coal severance tax back. The other rest of it goes to Lexington and places like that. So by us being a big coal-producing county, I feel that if we got our coal severance tax back, more money than what we anticipated, then we could build infrastructure such as wellness centers, or more importantly, doctors' offices, educational buildings such as colleges. One of the big things about this, we don't really know a time range on this. We don't know how long it would take. It's going to take a local community and other communities surrounding that to back us. And then we'd also have to get politicians to join with us to fight to get our money back for us. One of the things, whenever you look at this, where are we going to build this stuff at? As you know, Eastern Kentucky is full of mountains. That's why mountaintop removal comes in handy. As soon as a mountain is removed, take advantage of the land. Don't let it sit 6 years and then finally decide, oh, I believe we should put, a subdivision here. As soon as it's done and the coal company says you can have it, we should take advantage of it. Go out, build hospitals on there. There's all kinds of land towards Pikeville and Hazard, Kentucky that is just sitting there, and it's acres and acres of flat land that could have been built for hospitals and everything such as that. So that is one thing that we wanted to talk about was, just making sure that we can get our money back and, help build the community a lot better than what it is.
Okay. A couple more strategies that we could implement to achieve our objective, which was to bring better health care and services to the Appalachian region. First one is to simply create committees throughout the region to form relationships with legislators. This could be a great way to bring money back into the area. And these committees can also work with colleges and universities to offer programs to educate potential doctors, say that they could offer to help pay for school if someone would agree to work and serve at the Appalachian region. Also, we could try to acquire different skilled doctors to provide better healthcare services in the Appalachian region. And also, we should use media to spread the word about the healthcare services that are offered, because most of the time, if you have any kind of a serious injury, or if you need a special kind of surgery or healthcare treatment, the first thing they do is they send you to somewhere out of state most of the time. So, because a lot of people don't know about some of the healthcare that could be offered in the Appalachian region, or future healthcare services that could be offered. So.
Does anybody have any questions or anything about this? Okay, then, thank you.
And education. Who's speaking? Just one of you or two? Just one. Okay.
Okay. I'm Mackenzie Teague, and for our project, we did education. This is Jordan and Kayla, and then Carrie and Kenzie, and Laura, and then Nicholas. So for my group, like I said, we decided to focus on education. Our goal is to increase graduation rates for colleges or vocation. Furthermore, we have all come up with a myriad number of ideas that will definitely help with the current education situation. The first activity that will help out is integrating job and college fairs while producing more opportunity for campus tours. This refers to schools, colleges, and local businesses
putting in their time to help out as much as possible. The second strategy is job shadowing, which was mentioned beforehand in another group. This refers to high schoolers having their opportunity to wet their feet, so to speak, in a certain field with local businesses to help them back them up. Okay. The third strategy is peer counseling. Seniors would aid freshmen to succeed in high school. The fourth strategy is post-graduation motivation, which is where high schoolers will learn to obtain a college degree and how to prepare for job security, as well as showing the importance of finishing school. Moreover, the fifth strategy is in entrepreneurship and economics. This is where high schoolers realize they have a special gift. Math and English is still successful to them in their career they want to pursue. It's very important. Finally, the last strategy is parental involvement. Parental involvement is key to anything that has to do with kids in schools, and it's a positive thing that would help reinforce the students' well-being. Furthermore, resources are volunteers, such as parents or local businesses, and even grants. Challenges will be inspiring parental involvement, administrations, and finances. Thank you.
It is very difficult to separate each of these four topics that you and your group discussed. As was mentioned just a moment ago, entrepreneurship folds into education, education folds into economic development, and the health and wellness of our communities and individuals in those communities all reflect how we can improve our region. In reviewing these and giving a couple thoughts and food for thought for you to take back, one is, as Dr. Burns mentioned this morning, I challenge you to pick one thing that you heard today and build on that. Not only personally, but also take it back to your peers, take it back to your campus and in your local communities, and think about one thing that you can do to make a difference. Can we solve the world's problems between now and our next summit? Probably not, but we can begin to make a dent in those, and you all are the leaders that can help assist and be the catalyst in your area and in the region. So I would encourage you to do that. A couple of things that we are going to do and follow up. We would like to make sure that we receive a copy of each group, one copy from each group's plan, and we will electronically submit that to each of you. We will also be sharing that with our Higher Education Consortium. Lonnie mentioned earlier Dr. Fink could not be here, who is our chair of that consortium. But when we meet again within the next couple of months, your ideas, your plans will be shared with that group. And again, from many of the institutions that are represented by you all today. Because I think it's important for those individuals to hear your ideas and think not only how you can be the catalyst, but how they can help build that culture and that structure on the individual campuses for this to take place. Some of you may have been in a group today that you really don't feel as strongly about, or may not feel you have the talents or interest in that area. So when we submit this to you and you have a chance to look at it, we'll send you all four of them. And if there's an area that you're really passionate about, we would encourage you to take a look at that. And again, begin thinking about what you can do and how you can engage others. We also want to challenge you as well, between now and next time, is we're going to ask not only for you to come back and join us next year, but we want to hear some of your success stories, some of the work that you've been able to put into place within your local communities and within your college campus. So again, you are going to be our catalyst. You're going to be the seed in your community to help make some of these changes happen. We will support you in any way that we can, and as we continue to look at ways that we can improve our region. So I encourage you to think about this. We will get these out quickly to you. And again, I appreciate all of your effort and your thought today. in the work that you have done. And I'm sure the higher ed committee will, or consortium will do so as well. Lonnie, do you have any closing comments?
Well, actually, before closing comments, I want to have a short conversation with you. As we went between the groups and listened to the discussion, some of them were a little slow getting started, but after you got started, man, there were some fabulous, fabulous ideas going in there. How do we capitalize on that momentum, that enthusiasm, that passion that was in that room or in those rooms? What are our next steps? What can the center do to take advantage of all this discussion that went on in there today so that, and you don't have to answer right now. If you've got a burning thought and want to share it with me now, I'd love to hear it. But what I would encourage you to do is shoot us an email. Tell us the things that you think the Center for Rural Development needs to incorporate into its strategic plan that came out of this discussion. I looked at all of those sheets that you filled out at lunchtime, and there's a resounding, resounding theme. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And we know that. I mean, we understand that. It's one of the reasons that the center pushes so hard for entrepreneurship. We're not going to get those huge Toyota manufacturing plants in eastern Kentucky. We're just not going to do it, folks. However, if you get an entrepreneur that will create a company, if he hires 5 to 10, he or she hires 5 to 10 people, and then every year they add a couple of people, we can change the face of eastern Kentucky. We can absolutely change the face of eastern Kentucky. But I think we've got to do it ourselves. We can't depend on somebody else to bring those big manufacturing operations in here. We've got to create those jobs. And you guys are getting ready to get out there in the real world out of college. So you want to make sure that if you love where you live and you want to be able to stay there, you want a job. So think about entrepreneurship. I loved your idea of the entrepreneur shadowing. I just think that's something that we could really get behind. We're doing a lot of entrepreneurship training. Kentucky Highlands is doing entrepreneurship training. Greg Jones at SCED is doing entrepreneurship training. So we've got some resources here, but I think we've got to take it a step further. I think we've got to put resources in place, seed capital, find funding for people that really have a great idea but don't have a clue how to get there, don't have resources of how to get there. We've got to put those kind of resources in place. So anybody got any burning thoughts that they want to share before they leave? Nothing? What happened to all that enthusiasm in those rooms? Well, my email address is on our website. Get on our website, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. If you've got ideas on any of these topics that we talked about, or if there's other topics that you really think the center ought to be involved in, shoot me an email. I would love to hear from you. And I will promise you I will respond to you, and I'll try to find ways of helping whatever it is that you're trying to do. Push entrepreneurship. When you get back on your college campuses, push entrepreneurship. When you get back in your home communities, push entrepreneurship, because I think that is what is truly going to change southern and eastern Kentucky. Several folks that we do want to thank. We want to thank the faculty and staff for being with us today. Give them a round of applause for coming with you today. And even though she's left, we do want to thank Ann Little Burns. Did you enjoy her message this morning? I thought it was very, very good. The facilitators, thank your facilitators. I thought they did a really, really good job. And then Jim and all the center staff that helped put this thing on, would you thank those guys as well? One last question, then I'll hush. I know you're wanting to get out of here. Was this worthwhile? Yes? I mean, is everybody in agreement this is worthwhile? How do we improve on it next year? Getting the word out sooner, is that helpful, or is it, what, tell us some ideas that we can make this thing better. Business owners? Okay. Good suggestion. That's a really good suggestion. Absolutely. Some very successful entrepreneurs. I will tell you that most entrepreneurs, even though they may be successful now, have had several failures in their past. So those lessons are really, really valuable as well. It's not just the one that's really successful today. It's what did you learn all those times that those businesses failed that got you up to the point where you were successful. What else? Any others? Again, stay in contact with it. Was there more time? Okay. Okay. And that's certainly an easy one. Again, we've got to depend on the faculty and staff to make sure that they can stay as long as as we are. But if they're committed, boy, I'm certainly committed. We'll devote as much time to it as we need to. Anything else? Any burning thoughts? Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate your input. And again, I was just blown away when I went into some of the sessions, the great discussion that was going on in there. And this guy, if he doesn't run for office, I'm telling you what a great orator he is. It's absolutely incredible. But thank you again for being with us today. We will be in touch. As Jim said, we will get you all the feedback from all of these sessions and stay in touch with us. Thank you very much.